This video is a day in the life of an agroforester, specifically in Costa Rica. I've shown bits and pieces throughout my 4 years here living in Costa Rica, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, harvesting foods, there's planting some trees, cultivating some products from the foods. But today, I'm gonna highlight what a typical day in my life here is, accumulating everything. So thank you guys for tuning in, and if you're interested in agroforestry or food forest building, this is what your days are gonna look like. So these are two parts of my day. Planting a new tree. This is a jackfruit tree that will eventually grow, this heavy, giant jackfruit. If you guys do not know, this fruit, when ripe, has the smell and flavor of juicy fruit gum. And I have to give a giant thank you to Heather from the Mauser Foundation for gifting me this giant jackfruit, which I don't even know how much it weighs, maybe 30 pounds at least. And for this baby tree, and two others, which I've already planted, which will grow these jackfruit one day in abundance. So thank you again, Heather at the Mauser Foundation, for gifting this to the Jungle Temple. Now, my two main tools, primary tools as an agroforester, are a machete for cutting grass and trimming trees, and una pala, or in English, a shovel. And this shovel specifically is great for digging the holes for planting trees, and also posts for the barbed wire fences. So, number one tool, number two tool, interchangeable in terms of priority, but essential in my day. I probably use these for 3-4 hours every day of my life here. So here at the Jungle Temple, I do not use any chemicals. I do not even use gasoline for a weed whacker or anything. I cut all the grass by hand with machete for the past couple of years by myself. So when I'm preparing an area to plant a new tree, I cut the grass nice and short in that area. I dig a good hole. Thanks to my friend Rudy up in New Jersey from Saratoga in New York, who taught me how to do some gardening hacks and food forestry hacks and just landscaping hacks in general. During COVID, actually, I was helping him plant out his entire property in West Milford, New Jersey. He was a new neighbor, and I learned a lot. So thank you, Rudy, if you happen to stumble upon these videos. He taught me that when you're planting a tree, before you plant the tree in the hole you've dug, fill it with water, let it really absorb, so as soon as you get the tree in, the roots start to take. So you'll see me do that today, but here's macheteing grass, Toby style. Step one. Step two, dig a nice hole. Whew, let me catch my breath. Whew, good workout. Farm, agroforest, equivalent to gym. So I've chosen a shaded area so that when I plant this jackfruit or any tree, the sun does not kill it right away. So I like some shade. Also, to my right, to your left, there are some plantains and bananas growing. They will act, the trees themselves, when I cut them down. Of course, if the fruits fall naturally without me paying attention, it will act like a natural fertilizer. And a banana tree has tons of water content. So if you chop down pieces of a banana tree near a new fruit tree, it will provide sustainable hydration for that tree to get started. And then obviously the flesh will compost down into nutrient-rich soil, and that will provide energy and fuel for the new tree. So just a little preface as to why I chose here. And then I think this is a good spot. So I'll dig a nice circle. All right, so I'll remove that chunk. Really good soil here in Costa Rica. Specifically where I am in Parita. Central Pacific. All right, so I've got a nice hole. My other trusted tool, the watering can. Like I said, I'm going to fill this hole up with about half the watering can. All right. Let me bring you a little closer here. Bring you guys in here. I want to show you. All right. So there's my hole filled with water. I'm going to set you up here. Let's see. Get a good spot. Turn it down. Okay. So now I've got the jackfruit in the pot here. I'm going to try to remove it with as much of the soil as possible. And then as it goes in, I use the soil that I just dug up and I break it up, make it more malleable and loose. You want loose soil so the roots can grow in. You don't want hard soil because that makes it difficult for the roots to take root, or I should say form and have some freedom. So I break up all these big chunks, these muddy chunks, into loose, crackling, breaking down soil. All right, and then I'll push that in, make a nice little mound. And then I will do a nice circle with the rest of the water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. I'm gonna take my gloves off a little bit. All right, so there is the new jackfruit baby. And remember, these guys are living things, so I'll give you 100% of what I do every day. I talk to the plants, I talk to the trees every day. You're gonna see that more in the future of the video, but take root, baby, have a nice life, grow strong, provide us plenty of fruits, please. I love you. And I literally do this every day. I'm not just doing it for the camera. My neighbors who pass by, which you may see some soon because they're passing through my property to get some wood for the post, see me do this all the time, and they laugh. I think they think I'm crazy, but they know anciently this is the way to do it. This is what their ancestors did. They say, I have buen mano, or a good hand. In the United States, we would say we have a green thumb if you're really good with plants, but I love trees and plants like they're living beings, human beings, animals. So here's our jackfruit. This is gonna produce those giant fruits within a couple years. So thank you, Mother Earth, and thank you again, Heather at the Mauser Foundation, for donating this, providing this gift to the Jungle Temple and me and our land here, and as a result, all of my future customers and my neighbors who I share the fruit with. So how to plant a fruit tree properly for success. Anyway, I love you. All right, I'm taking respite, a little break here. Just behind where the camera was just sitting for the jackfruit planting. I'm underneath right now one of my giant manzana de agua, or water apple trees. This is a really cool tree because the fruit is delicious and super hydrating, but I have 4 giant trees, probably hundreds of years old. They stand, I don't know, at least 50 feet high, each of them, and they produce thousands of fruits every year. But let me show you something. I don't know if you can see up behind me, but if you look deep enough, there's a lot of flowers and fruits up on these branches there. And the flowers are this beautiful, beautiful kind of fluorescent pink color. And when they shed right before they're fruiting, it creates this beautiful like pink skirt underneath the trees. Let me try to pull a branch down over here. Let's see. Yeah, and you can see, so the flowers will come off, and then these guys will become the fruits one day. Can you see? So in about a month, those are going to become water apples, which you've probably seen in other videos of mine. Now, what's really awesome about this, oh, here's one right now. So here's a little baby water apple that had fallen from the tree. Something started to eat it. It's usually butterflies. I had just seen a morpho, a blue morpho, but one of the owl eye ones, one of the ones that is brown and it has like an eye on the wing that looks like an owl's eye. So we just went through thousands of these. I invited several of my neighbors and friends over, and we were just munching. Actually, a friend of mine and I were sitting down underneath this tree on a couple of towels for a few hours, just listening to music, eating water apples about a week ago, and it was a lovely afternoon. So this is a really nice tree, and you know, let me pull this off really quick, and you can see the bees love it. So it's a pollinator, and these flowers are gorgeous, and the buds, and then it will grow into abundant fruits. But yeah, there's so many fruits. So these are all going to be apples at some point. Literally thousands and thousands and thousands. You can see there's everywhere I look up in that tree. This tree is going to have a couple thousand fruits in about a month. And I have 4 of these big trees. I'm also growing a lot of these in the vivero area, which I'm going to show you, which is a fruit tree nursery. So over the past few years, I've been cultivating a lot of these in pots and bags, and I'm going to start selling these as one of the first phases of my business here in Costa Rica. So yeah, hanging out, catching some shade. Now I'm going to head back to the property and continue this video for you, or to the other side of the property. And yeah, so 3 jackfruits planted. In coming years, we're going to have tons of jackfruit, which again, as I said earlier in the video, has the smell and flavor of juicy fruit gum. So if you like juicy fruit gum and you happen to be passing through Costa Rica in the Central Pacific Coast, in a couple of years from now, beyond 2025, swing by the Jungle Temple and I will happily gift you some, sell you some. You can pay a donation, whatever. I have so much abundance. My business is going to be doing fine here. If you're a friend, you get it for free. If you're a neighbor or a passerby, I accept barter too. Not only do I accept cash and Bitcoin and all that modern stuff, but barter. So if you bring me some food, some lunch, anything of a sober person's value, bring that through. All right, ese es mi vecino Oscar. Caballero Oscar, buena persona, trabajando duro hoy, pura vida. All right, guys, so in the corners of all of my walkways for the past several months, I would say, maybe even close to a year, I've been planting as many flowers as possible to create a nice little painting here, an array of as many colors as possible, but on top of that, they're pollinators. So I'm using what would normally be an unused space where I wouldn't necessarily put a fruit tree because it will impede upon the walkway, or there's other established bigger trees around. And I've been gathering flowers both from viveros, from friends, from areas that I pass through that I see flowers, and I'll just grab some seeds or a cutting. I literally keep a pair of clippers in my backpack when I'm traveling to different areas of Costa Rica. And whether I see something in like Capos or Dominical or Jaco area or San Jose or Punta Arenas even, on, you know, my appointments, my visits to friends. I come home with 3, 4, or 5 clippings of different flowers. So something that's very important so that they can sustain and live for a long time and flourish, we should say, is making sure they're weeded around the bases, because there are a lot of invasive weeds here that will strangle the roots of flowers and fruit trees, but mostly the flowers, and they can prevent them from growing super well. So I'll come in every day, pick an area, and just grab handfuls of weeds and clear them up. And then usually I'll either drop seeds or take another clipping or something that I've been growing in the vivero and plant them in where I once pulled the weed out, because the nice thing about weeds is they form roots too. And beneath the roots, or surrounding the roots, they create really good soil. So now this area that you see I just weeded underneath these flowers, I'm gonna plant some more flowers, and then that will just create an abundance of new colors. So then I'll take this and I'll just run over to a little pit over here, which will become a burn pit. Throw that there. That will dry. After a few days, that will dry. I'll light it on fire. It will burn, and that will create some biochar for me. And then I use that ash, that charcoal, to sprinkle around the bases of my fruit trees to act as a fertilizer to help them grow stronger. And I just want to show you some of the array of colors here a little bit closer. So look at the beauty of these guys. These are so gorgeous. And then we've got oranges, the white flowers, beautiful. We've got these purple guys, all right? And then we've got these, which are similar to the whites you just saw. This one's just starting to come in. It's like a pink. This will be a different type of red. These are beautiful. Look at this purple, right? How gorgeous is that purple? And all types. So these oranges are a little different too. So my goal is to have as many colors on this property as possible. So I spent my first 2 to 3 years planting as many varieties of fruit trees as possible. You got the Bismarck palm behind me, another beautiful one. So the past couple of years, or the past year I should say, I've really focused on the botanical garden to get all these guys cultivated. And there's different zones. This runs all along my walkway. There's another corner of the walkway there that I'm doing it. Just beyond that, same thing. Over my shoulder, you can see there's lots of flowers coming in. So this brings me joy every day. Almost more than like harvesting and eating fruits is waking up and seeing all these beautiful flowers, super happy, dancing in the wind. Anyway, a vital part of an agroforest is not just the fruit trees, but it's also the lower level pollinators, and of course the canopy level trees like the palms that are established for a long time that give shade to these guys so they don't get sunburnt, and also native trees, indigenous trees, of which I don't know many names, but when they're growing on my property, I love to treat them well and make sure that they're cleaned up around their roots and bases and trunks so that they're surviving and thriving. For example, many of you have seen the giant Guanacaste tree, which just shed all of its leaves. But now that rainy season's a couple months away, she will fill up abundantly and create a lot of shade. And as you can see, there's a whole entire ecosystem of other plants. There's also like draping dragon fruit from all the branches, a cactus that grows pitaya, or dragon fruit as we know it in North America. So this is all part of the food forest. It's not just growing fruit trees, but it's also growing the pollinators. Here I have a citrus. I do a funny thing. It's always a mystery. I'll plant seeds and then a few years later something will come out like this. So I don't know if this is oranges, limes, or grapefruit because I've planted all of them here. But yeah, a very important part of a food forest is the pollinators as well, obviously, because you want to pollinate the flowers of the fruit trees so that they produce abundant fruits. And we don't have to hand pollinate here because we have dozens, I would imagine, species of bees and wasps and butterflies and hummingbirds to do that all for us. Just a fun fact, I grow vanilla on the property, of which I'll show you in a little bit. And Costa Rica, from what I'm aware, from my research, is the only country in the world which has naturally the type of bee that will pollinate vanilla, where in other countries like Madagascar and Southeast Asia and other parts of Central and South America, these bees don't exist. So people have to go in and hand pollinate each vanilla flower in order to get the vanilla bean pod to come out. Here in Costa Rica, we don't have to do that because it does it naturally. Obviously, if you do it, you're going to get a lot more fruitfulness. But I feel very blessed that I naturally stumbled upon a place that grows both vanilla and the bee species that will pollinate it for us. So anyway, for those of you who have not been to Costa Rica, specifically the Central Pacific coast, it is very hot here, very humid. If you're in the sun for too long, it takes a toll on you. So I would highly recommend doing work with a hat and a shirt on. I didn't today because it's actually been raining the past couple of days, so the mornings have been nice and cool. But after that little bit of work that you just saw me do, something that I do, and this is a part of my life, so I'm including it in the video, I would say I take about 10 showers a day. Not because I'm disgustingly dirty, but just because every 30, 45 minutes to an hour, I'm dripping in sweat. Specifically when I'm working outside. When I'm just hanging out, I stay nice and cool. The shade makes a significant difference. So some tips I have if you're in Central America or Costa Rica and you're starting a food forest, find shade. Hang out in shade as much as possible. Keep a hat on, protect yourself from the sun. When you feel yourself overheating, get out of the sun, get in front of a fan. Moving air makes a substantial difference. I actually don't use air conditioning. I have an air conditioning unit in my house. I haven't used it since my first 6 months living here. Just having a fan, a rotating fan or a ceiling fan on is a life changer. So moving air is a miracle. Also, I've got about 5 showers installed on my property now, not inside. I have 3 showers inside. I have 5 outdoor showers that I've done the plumbing for myself. So I'll just come over, even if it's just 10 seconds. I wash off my hands, nice and clean, and then just rinse off. There's nothing better than just having some cold water hit your skin, take that sweat off. It's refreshing, and it's like a recharge. It really feels like my body, my skin can absorb as much water as my mouth can drink if I'm drinking water. So something like this, like a miniature waterfall, is an amazing feeling and an amazing refresher that is highly vital in Costa Rica. So 2 parts that will save your life and help improve your life a lot with an agroforest in Costa Rica is moving air, fans, keep them on during the daytime, shade, which goes hand in hand with that, and cleverly put showers around your property. So wherever you are within 20, 30 meters, you can just go grab a shower and rinse yourself off and cool down, and immediately my body temperature has dropped significantly. So super tip, pro tip. This is my little fruit tree nursery, in Espanol, un vivero. So this is a plant, a medicinal herb native to Costa Rica called guanelama. I have some arnica growing here. We've got some chili peppers growing here, red onion. I forget what this is. That's another gift from Heather. Some more onions, aloe vera. These are baby manzana de agua. This is coca. This is a nice little ornamental flower. We've got a cacao baby coming in, ginger. These guys are dragon fruit. These are avocado. And then this vine here is ayahuasca. Then turning to my other side, I've got a group of acerola cherry coming in. In these bags, you see some random stuff coming up, but I've planted guanabana seeds, so that will be guanabana. Oh, I think this is our first one coming up. Here we've got the mandarinas, they call them, which in the US is like a clementine type of orange. And then this is caviar lime, and you could see the side shoots are starting to come up, so this one's taking root. All of these are cacao. Over here we've got some Brazilian spinach. This is a miracle fruit, And I've got some flowers here, and this is just one of my sections of the vivero in the making, my fruit tree nursery amongst medicinal herbs and other things. Oh, and this is, these guys in these pots and these 2 bags are the culantro that grows here. Also in these bags, I just planted some more miracle fruit seeds. Here I have a cucumber, pepino, and then here I actually bought a plum, ate the plum, and then planted the seed in here. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this is a plum that comes up soon. So that is one area I've set as a vivero area. I have, I think, 5 other areas with all the bags and the pots right now. My goal is to fill as much of my property, not only with agroforest and food forest, but also clones and babies grown from seeds or from clippings that I can open up as a vivero. And I don't want to have it all crowding my walkways, so I'm putting it in areas like this, specifically specified, or beneath shaded trees like this guanabana, for example. And as you can see, we have lots of fruits coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When properly pruned, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 down here. So they're all different sizes, all different production levels. Look, so many in here. There's so many coming in right now. Look at these guys, so many. So yeah, underneath many of the fruit trees, I will also be utilizing the shade naturally to grow a lot of the fruit tree babies. Typically underneath a guanabana, I will have guanabana growing. And that's the idea. So when somebody visits and they see, oh man, that's a guanabana, or that's chili peppers, or that's acerola cherry, I'm gonna have babies underneath them. So it's really easy to define what's what. And also so that people don't just have to look at my awesome abundance, but they can take some stuff home and plant it on their property. So I wanted to conclude this video with like a tour around the property, showing you everything that was flowering and fruiting right now. But the more I think about it, that would extend it another 20 minutes because the property is vast and it's producing massively right now. So I'm just gonna sign off here. I'll save that for another video, because just to give you an example, right now, fruiting, I always have coconuts. Right now I have oranges, limes, we have caviar limes, we have guanabana, cacao. That's just what I see directly. Acerola cherry. I have star fruit with flowers right now. We have avocados and mangoes with flowers that have little tiny fruits growing. Cas, which is a Costa Rican form of guava. Coffee has flowers right now. So it would really just be an abundance of showing you everything that's flowering and fruiting right now. And I really don't need to get into that because that would extend the video significantly, and you guys have already seen a day in my life. So I will just finish with saying that at the end of every day, or at some point, probably 2 to 3 times throughout the day, I walk around and do a tour around every square inch of my property to see what's flowering, to see what's fruiting, to try to extrapolate a timeline of when I'm going to be harvesting everything. And also, like I did earlier with the jackfruit, Simba saying hi, I speak to all the plants. I treat them just like they're friends, because they are. They're the beings that I see every day and interact with every day. So I say hello, I tell them how beautiful they are. And just looking in front of me right now, I have arnica flowering. I have something called chan, which is a medicinal herb here in Costa Rica that Ticos love to use in a drink. It's kind of like chia seed, kind of, and you put it in a drink and it kind of foams up a little bit and it's delicious and tasty. I also have passion fruit growing, passion flower, pomegranate, goji berry, 3 types of chili in front of me. So it would be a lot to try to show you all of these clips and everything. Just tune in for future videos. What I will do is, as things are fruiting and I'm harvesting them, I'm gonna start taste testing them on camera in the coming year, because there's such abundant fruit right now that I think that's the next phase of what I should be doing. Is once things are fruiting and able to be harvested, I'm gonna harvest everything and then go over flavor profiles, because I raise everything organically here. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't use any chemicals on property, and there is this significant amplification in flavor profile, not just from my own opinion, but every time I share something with somebody, they tell me how much better it tastes than anything else they've ever had. So that said, stay tuned. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed yet for future videos, because you're gonna see me harvesting every single thing I grow here over the coming months, because every month produces 5 new types of fruits. And in future shorts and in future posts on my YouTube, my Facebook, and my Instagram for the Jungle Temple and Tobin Osuski, I will be doing taste tests of everything. Hopefully, I will also have guests here with me taste testing things. So that will be exciting for me, because I'm excited to see their reactions, just like I'm sure you are. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. Tobin tuning out from the Jungle Temple. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, and share, and start your paradise. Agroforest, your food forest, as soon as possible.